It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. A Super Bowl champion linebacker turned Hollywood writer and producer, Spencer Paysinger brought his own poignant story of living in South Central LA and playing football at Beverly Hills High to the hit CW series All-American. The award-winning show captures the experience of navigating two different worlds as an outsider. All-American shows that it doesn't matter where you're from, says Paysinger. We all go through the same sadness, loss, and sorrow. It's a real-life story about making connections and starting conversations between people that may not have had conversations before. Like the Spencer character based on his life, Paysinger grew up amid the drugs, gangs, violence, and poverty of South Central LA, with education-focused parents and a dream of going to college. A promising athlete who excelled at football, he was offered scholarships at both Beverly Hills High and the University of Oregon, where he led, University of Oregon, where he led the football teams to undefeated seasons. Graduating with a bachelor's degree in economics, he began his NFL career with the New York Giants, winning Super Bowl 46 in his rookie season. After retiring football in 2017, Paysinger pursued his dream of developing TV and film projects focused on the Black experience, and within 4 months, he was shooting the pilot for All-American. Under his Moore Street Productions banner, he is currently writing a film for Ron Howard. Committed to leveraging his success to create opportunities for young people, Paysinger serves on the boards of KIPP Public Schools, Black and Latino Leadership Committee, and Lyft City Works Council. He co-owns Hilltop Coffee and Kitchen, a fast casual eatery with allegiance to underserved communities. Paysinger is a creative powerhouse, telling stories of the Black experience with refreshing insight and perspective, framing complex issues within a familiar and personal context, and reminding us where we can all go if given the individual and community support to follow our dreams and potential. Thank you, Spencer.
I'm not going to get into the hello Olympics. The words y'all been coming with, I'm like, here we are. We are here today. First and foremost, I would like to thank Sharice Beckford, Steve Branch, and Dr. Kornbluth for bringing me here today. You guys have actively, in literally 45 minutes, have changed my view of what MIT is. And for that, you guys have given me a gift that I can take to my family. First off, I want us to take a deep breath. On your own time, do it on your own time. I like to always start off with a deep breath because we're in some times right now. We are in some times right now. And I know we can talk in depth about it, which we all are doing in our own collective circles, but I want us to lean into community. I want us to leaning into the uncomfortable that we're in right now, because on the other side of that is greater pastures. So let's dive into it. These are all my titles. These are all the many hats that I wear. I'm a father to 2 beautiful children, Cairo and Madden. I'm wearing socks with their faces on it right now. That's like standard in the household. They literally run and grab the socks and throw them in my bag. I'm a husband to a beautiful, smart, intelligent wife, Blair. I'm a writer, a producer, an entrepreneur, and casually a former NFL linebacker. I was all right, I was decent. We'll get there. But these are I like to look at these as buoys in the sum of all my decisions. And I feel like us as a society, us as a people, we're nothing more, nothing less than the sum of our decisions. Now, when I got this theme, when I got the energy for today, we must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience. I was kind of insecure about this topic. I didn't know how much my story could dive into the theme for today. But what you guys are seeing right here, and you guys can laugh at this photo, it's all right. I like to think of this photo. This is a 10-year-old version of myself. This is the kid that had glasses, couldn't really breathe out of his nose correctly. Life was coming at him fast from all different directions. And when I think about myself, when I have that internal conversation, I'm always bringing up this 10-year-old version of me because I like to think of him as my conscience. I'm constantly trying to make this 10-year-old kid happy. And during my conversation with this kid, trying to understand, what can I bring to you all today? He told me, talk about the self. Now, a society is only as strong as the individuals who make it up. And I think that's such a great idea to sort of debunk the idea of society, to bring it back down to a community level, to a personable level. It's easy for us to look at society, to look at government, to look at the right, the left, and what have you, all these different big pseudonyms to kind of take the onus off of ourselves. But when we bring it into ourselves, it allows us to understand how we can impact not only ourselves and our friends and our family, our community, but also the future. Again, you guys can laugh at these pictures, it's okay. The pixels and everything, it's again, 20 years ago. But I want to take it back a little bit. For me, I was a young black kid in South Central Los Angeles. I grew up where they filmed Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood. Those are films that were filmed mere blocks away from where I grew up. I've seen dead bodies. I've seen the whole thing. Now, pun intended, I had an all-American upbringing. I rode bikes in my neighborhood. It was my street versus the next street versus the next street. It was growing up with the same sort of cohort of friends until you go to high school and kind of sprawl onto your own endeavors. But during that time, I excelled at football, was able to go to Beverly Hills High School, which was its own experience. If you've seen All-American, thank you. Ended up getting a scholarship to the University of Oregon. Now, at that time, I was a receiver, a wide receiver, all-state, all-conference, league MVP, all the accolades you can come with. I had multiple scholarship offers to play receiver at other schools. University of Oregon was the only school that said you might play defense if you come here. But I'm thinking, you don't change a person that has these accolades to the other side of the ball. They did. Now, I was scared. I was unsure of myself. When my coaches decided to make that change for me, I thought about transferring. The transfer portal and NIL and those type of things were just not what it is today. I would have had to lose a year and possibly build back up to get to such a program at U of O. And it was one of those moments where it was uncomfortable, it was challenging, it was something where I couldn't see the other side. Fortunately for me, I had coaches that trusted me, that came to me with a genuine plan of going, you give us 2 years, we will make you into a college linebacker. Now, it wasn't easy. I got beat up, I got cursed out by coaches, I got everything under the sun that came with the uncomfortable truth of having to change positions. Now, 2 years later, after going through this sort of growth moment, I came out the other side as a starting linebacker for the University of Oregon for 3 years. Now, during that time, again, very uncomfortable, very vulnerable, very insecure. There are some depressive states there. But if I trust the process, if I knew that leaning into the uncomfortableness of the moment, the other side could be greater for me, which it ended up being. Now, for me, one thing that came with the transition into being a linebacker, it was something that if I was able to do it correctly, it could lead me to the next level, which it did. I ended up playing my last game against the Auburn Tigers, Cam Newton, in the national championship. We lost, unfortunately. I still feel it today. But that change 4 or 5 years prior to that led me to the NFL. I truly believe that if I did not go through that uncomfortable reality of changing positions, I would have never made it to the NFL. Now, I go undrafted. We make it to the national championship. Like I said, we only had one player drafted. And I land with the New York Giants. This was an idea, a plan of mine that I felt like being from Los Angeles. I felt like I made it in LA. I wanted to see if I could make it in New York. I actually have one of my teammates in attendance right now, Mark Herzlich. I'm going to put you on the spotlight. Put your hand up. So I'm living the dream. I played a total of 7 years in the NFL. I played 4 with the Giants, 2 with the Dolphins. We don't talk about the Jets, that little stint right there. And I finished my career with the Carolina Panthers. And during this time, early on in my career, I picked up this little hobby of mine, which is screenwriting. It allowed me to sort of decompress from the rigors that came with learning 20 to 30 new defenses a day. And Mark knows what I'm talking about. We sat next to each other for 4 years. But around year 4, year 5, I started to grapple with the morality of the NFL, the morality of my body, of my mind, the effects that it was having on my body. And as any person would do in my position playing in the NFL, I tried to bury those thoughts as deep as possible. Because when you're living your dream, when everybody is telling you everything is perfect, you're in the NFL, this is the dream that you've spent 20 years trying to get to, and you're looking at it like, is it though? It's a lonely feeling. You don't really have anybody out there that you can really see eye to eye with and really connect with. So there are a lot of lonely nights thinking about, what could I do next? What is there to do next? The idea of screenwriting was just an idea at that point. I was tinkering around with it a little bit. I had done sort of job shadowing opportunities, but nothing at that moment had really stuck. This is my friend Tyler Sash. He was me and Mark's closest friend in the NFL. For short, we called him T-Sizzle. For long, we called him White Chocolate. He was a safety out of Iowa, and we came into the NFL together. By every definition, my brother, my best friend, the guy that, along with Mark, I learned how to be a professional in the NFL with. We did everything together, whether it was dinner, whether it was going out, celebrating, understanding a loss, watching film together. We lived together for 2 years, and this was, by all account, my brother. Now, going into our 4th year, Tyler unfortunately gets cut by the Giants. At that same time, I'm starting to grapple with my own mortality, like I said, when it came to the NFL. He moves back home to Iowa, and he starts to exhibit some weird behavior. Losing his keys, wearing jackets in the, not wearing jackets in the snow, but wearing puffer jackets in the sun. And we, as teammates, just thought this was just Tyler struggling to adjust to life out of the NFL. Mind you, we're still trying to be professionals. We're still trying to live our dream, try to actively be contributing members of the New York Giants. And again, Patriots fans out here, I get it, I understand. I don't know, hey, I'm sorry. But unfortunately, Tyler had a surgery that was planned by the Giants to fix a rotator cuff tear in his shoulder. And unfortunately, the surgery kept getting postponed. Now, because it kept getting postponed, he kept upping his medication. He was taking other medication along with that, and over time, the combination became toxic in his body. He ended up taking a combination of medication one night on his couch, went to sleep, and never woke up again. And I get the call from his family. I'm literally at the bank with my wife in Florida. I just moved down to Miami to join the Dolphins. I'm putting money in an account to set up my wedding. We were getting married that same year in 2015. And when I got that call that Tyler passed away, it shocked me. Like, this was my guy, this was my family, this was the guy that was supposed to be in my wedding 8 months from now. And when I was thinking about where I was in the NFL, where my mind was, trying to bury those thoughts of just trying to continue this dream of mine, this is the single greatest moment that said, hey, it's time to get real about this. It's time to start charting your path out of the NFL. You know, I'll never forget the moment that I had with Tyler's mom, Belinda. She called me crying on the phone, begging me to retire from football. The game took her son away from her. She looked at me as sort of a surrogate son. She was scared that I was going to go the way of her son, and didn't want not only myself, but my family and my mom to feel the same things that she felt. But although I didn't commit to that mission right then and there to walk away from the league, it allowed me to start charting a plan outside of it. And it just allowed me, again, like it says right here, to think differently about my future, to identify beyond football and what I wanted to do next. It was an uncomfortable truth. It allowed me to stop being so ignorant, stop being so complicit in my current standing of playing in the NFL and starting to chart my path out. And then the 2016 presidential election happened. And what's interesting about hearing all the great speakers here today is I didn't know how much I could go into the election and everything that's been happening in our country right now. And I was sitting in my chair like, oh man, I should have wrote a whole different speech. I was like, you guys are going after it today. You guys are getting after that. In a great way that is coming from the heart, not just the mind. The 2016 presidential election happened. And at this time, I'm in Miami. I'm still dealing with the death of my close friend. I'm understanding my mortality in the NFL. Down in Miami that night, I'm watching the votes come in. My wife is pregnant with our daughter, Cairo. She starts to see the wind change. She goes, not doing this, I'm going to sleep. I stay up all night. I'm watching the votes come in. I see him get confirmed. And it was just a rage inside of me. It was a rage of lack of accountability. It was a rage of continuing lack in trust of our system. And in that moment, I had this weird thing kind of fall over me, sort of a calmness fall over me. It made me go, it's time to circle the wagons. It's time to lean back into community. It's time to start getting diligent about where we are as a country, where we are as a community, and where we are as a people. And from that point on, I played 2 more years in the NFL. I was actively putting things in place to be able to not only walk away from the NFL, but to build community that I would want to live in my home in Los Angeles, California. Remember that hobby I told you guys about in screenwriting? Started to get serious about it. For 2 years after the presidential election, after my best friend passed away, I said, you know what? What are the things in my life that bring me joy? What are the things that I can take stock in and go, I want to stand next to this idea. I want to stand next to this initiative. All-American it started as just a hobby of mine after games. I was watching movies after games, flying home from playing teams. Imagine hitting 300-pound linemen, and then an hour later, you're watching like a French noir film on the plane when your teammates are watching film about the game. It was always funny because people would be like, oh, my teammates would be like, oh, come watch this play of yours. I'm like, well, watch it tomorrow. I want to write right now. All-American for me was birthed out of the idea of watching marginalized communities not have a say in this world. It was birthed out of the current generation. You guys were in high school when maybe even middle school, we've been on that long, ironically. It was birthed out of seeing you guys not wait for your seat at the table. It was birthed out of seeing the stories that were happening around the country of stories of unjust, stories of racism, stories of attempting to quiet what was bubbling in our country. And I'll never say that All-American was a response to Trump, but I will say the energy that went into making this show is a direct correlation to seeing this generation not wait for their seat at the table. Now, All-American for me was the tip of the iceberg. I made that commitment to myself to lean into community. What you guys are seeing right here is ideas, companies, brands, initiatives that I am now a part of in Los Angeles and beyond that are rooted in community. And as I stand up here today talking about Dr. King's mission, Dr. King's dream, why we are all in this room today, to me, it all leans back into community. I am a team member. I am a teammate. I am the consummate teammate. Mark can tell you. Hopefully I'm a good teammate, Mark. I'm good? I'm solid? See, I got the stand from him. I don't know what it feels like to be by myself. I don't want to know what it feels like to be alone in the wind, by myself, trudging along. For me, I'm at my best when I have people on the right and on the left of me attempting to reach the same dream. We can have different ideologies, we can come from different backgrounds, race, socioeconomic backgrounds, but when we step on that metaphorical field, we all need to be going for that common goal. All-American, again, was the tip of the iceberg. Hilltop Coffee and Kitchen, we have 5 locations in Los Angeles. All of our locations are rooted in underserved communities. The plan for that is to get to 10 or 15 locations and go for a national raise to go into other underserved communities in the country. You know, Post 21 is a company that my wife built, celebrating Black and brown creatives. 444 is a health and wellness shop rooted in our community. Lost is a social club that we have created within our neighborhood. Somerville is a sort of jazzy, speakeasy, 1920s Harlem-esque type feel. All these concepts are rooted in, I want people that look like us, that have the same ideologies as us, to be able to see themselves in all these different initiatives. Now, I talked about 2 or 3 different things that have impacted my life. But at the end of the day, it really comes back to just the mindset that we need to have. The same mindset that took me from receiver to linebacker, from NFL to Hollywood, is the same one that drives me as an entrepreneur. It's rooted in community, it's rooted in togetherness, it's rooting in not being that single solitary person attempting to be the only one in the room. We all need to make a focus of getting as many people through that door as possible, whether it's through mentorship programs, whether it's through grants, whether it's just through sitting down with somebody that's having a bad day and going, hey, I see you, I feel you, I know you, I want to make sure you're better before we part ways. Getting back to that community feel. Now, this is my favorite photo of Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., because he's not really protected by the idea of a suit. He's not shielded by a podium. He's looking us dead in the eye. He probably looks like one of your cousins or your uncles, somebody you know. I like the fact that he has his watch and his ring. He's like, oh, what's up? But to me, it's my favorite photo of him because it seems like he has stripped away everything that we've come to know him as, and he wants to be seen as just a guy, just a regular person. But there's so much power in him just being a regular man. Because again, he's looking us dead in the eye and he's asking, what are you doing for others? That's my main thing that comes back to me when I think about Dr. King, when I feel Dr. King, when we're in rooms like this. I would like to be judged off of what I have done for others. It doesn't matter the money, it doesn't matter the accolades, Super Bowl, anything like that. That's all stuff that's in the past. That's all stuff that are just buoys along my journey. For me, when you hear in the trades one day that, you know, Spencer Paysinger is now gone, when they're writing my obituary, if it says Spencer Paysinger, NFL player, All-American, XYZ, I think I might have failed you guys. I think continuously, if I live to be 80, 90, 100, 120 years old, you know, I know you're working on AI right now. We might go to like 2000 right here. But when I'm able to lay my body to rest, I want to be judged by what I have done for others. I think that is the single greatest thing that Dr. King has left for us, is to ask ourselves, what exactly have we done for others? Now, I like to end it with the idea that peace is something that, again, I'm trying to come from the heart here, because the speeches that came before me like riled me up in such a way that I'm like, oh, I got to get there with y'all. You know, I gotta stamp it with you guys. So I've actually been actively editing my speech as we've gone through. You know, but peace is something that is not this far-off idea. I think we've built it in a way that when we talk society, when we talk the seeking of peace, a lot of times it's easy for us to say, oh, the right is messing this up. Oh, the left is not playing with the same weapons. Oh, these big euphemisms that come with seeking peace. For me, peace is something where we need to actively engage with. We need to have the uncomfortable conversations. We need to take stock of where we are as a people, as a community, and as a country. Because on the other side of that is everything that we can dream of. I think one of the biggest problems with our country right now is nobody wants to call a spade a spade. Nobody wants to get out of their depth, to get out and get uncomfortable. For me, walking into this room today, I'm looking at this building. I asked the guys in the back, how old is this building? It's over 100 years old, I believe. I'm sitting next to Madam President, which we've been having some great conversations over here. But I feel like I have been out of my depth all morning. But unfortunately for me, I'm a good swimmer. So, thank you. And it's having that mindset of being a good swimmer, of figuring it out, of not coming from a mindset of deciding whether I can or can't do something, but if I want to or not. That's the energy in which I come in here today. I'm sitting next to so many great people, with so many great accolades and people that are shaping the future, shaping the now and the future. And I'm sitting here like a Super Bowl and a TV show is like the least important thing in this room right now. But when I sit here and I'm in community with you all, it allows me to take the same energy back to Los Angeles. I know you guys have things on lock out here. Hopefully, I got the same thing popping over in Los Angeles. Now, what I'd like to leave you with is just thinking of the idea of your consciousness, thinking of the idea of having peace with your consciousness. It's, to me, something I show you the picture of my little 10-year-old self. I'm constantly trying to make that 10-year-old version of me happy. I think everybody can agree in this room, especially to the college students out here, you're constantly attuned with your younger self. You're constantly in conversation with that little kid that liked to ride bicycles, that little kid that liked to paint, that liked to climb trees. Somewhere along the way, when we became adults, things got real, bills had to get paid, jobs had to get done, you had to raise family. It's tough right now, I get that. It's extremely tough right now. But the only way that we can move forward, the only way we can have our conscience be light, be clean, moving into the future, is if we do this together. There's really no other way. There's no other way. There's power in community. They know that. The people in those high offices, they understand that they want us siloed off. They want our communities fractured. They want us to not be able to look each other in the eye and call, again, a spade a spade. That's not how I'm built. It's not how I'm built. It's not how I want to be built. It's not how I'm raising my kids. And as I end, I just want you guys to really think about your inner selves. Think about your inner childs. Think about what your inner child would say to you if they had the microphone and were able to talk to you. Would they be happy to see you, or would they have some things to say? And with that, thank you. I'd also, real quick, because I feel so compelled to say it, can we give it up for Michael Ewing? I see myself a lot in you right now. I see myself in a guy that you're in a position to learn, but you're also in a position to lead. And the fact that you are able to come up here today, look these people in the eye, be in community with them, the future's bright for you. So, again, congrats.
I would like to say thank you again to Spencer. I thank you again so much. I know I can speak for myself, the other students in the room, and even the grown-ups, that your story of learning, growth, development, that is at the core of what it means to be an MIT student and an MIT staff member. That's what we do. We're constantly learning, pushing the boundaries of all that we know. So, that being at the center of your story is just inspirational to all of us. So again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.